Imagine a weight more than double your own body mass, physically fused to your frame. It isn't a temporary pack you can take off at the end of the day. It's a permanent condition of childhood. For Jasmine Ramirez, this was the reality of growing up in Bradenton, Florida. From the age of 2, her life became a 12-year endurance test against her own anatomy. Doctors watched as the arteries, veins, fat, and bone in her left leg expanded at an unnatural rate. It was a disorder so rare that it had no medical name, just a relentless, visible growth. By the time she was 14, that single limb weighed 174 pounds. The diagram shows the scale, a mass that had become larger and heavier than the rest of her body combined. Every step required twice the effort of a healthy peer. But the physical strain was only half the story. She lived through every morning her body wouldn't cooperate, and every afternoon spent under the gaze of strangers. Carrying that much weight creates a barrier between a child and a normal life. It turns a medical condition into a lived experience of constant, quiet separation from everyone else. In 2025, the situation shifted from a chronic struggle to an immediate crisis. A severe infection took hold in the leg, and Jasmine's doctors realized she would not survive without an amputation. The surgery lasted nearly 17 hours. It was a high-stakes effort to remove the growth and give her a chance to live without the weight that was slowly killing her. This chart reveals the staggering math of her recovery. After the surgery, Jasmine weighed about 80 pounds. The leg they removed weighed 174. For years, she had been carrying a burden that was physically twice her own size. But removing the mass didn't bring immediate relief. Jasmine found herself looking at a body that felt unrecognizable, struggling to reconcile who she was now that the weight she'd known her entire life was gone. In the early days of her recovery, she refused to look at herself, even telling her family she felt like a monster. The physical weight was gone, but the image of herself remained broken. Her survival, however, was already supported by a framework of people positioned years before she ever reached the operating table. Years earlier, Dr. Peter Armstrong had been the chief medical officer at Shriners. Now, as medical officer emeritus, he was the specific link Jasmine's father needed to secure a prosthetic leg and begin the next phase of her life. Supported by this medical team, Jasmine began to process her trauma. She decided that while people might still stare at her, she no longer had to care about their judgment. Healing took hold when the technical expertise of the Shriners staff met Jasmine's own choice to define herself by her future rather than the space where her leg used to be. Just months after surgery, Jasmine walked across her middle school graduation stage. It was a physical demonstration of the confidence she fought to rebuild. Her message to the world was simple: "I thought I wasn't going to make it, but I did." It was the voice of someone who had survived the impossible and was finally ready to look at the purpose behind her pain. Jasmine's story mirrors an ancient account of an unchosen burden. In the Gospel of Matthew, a fish is found carrying a heavy coin in its mouth, a weight it did not choose and likely did not understand. That coin made the fish's life harder, creating eating and breathing challenges no other fish faced. Yet that specific burden became the miracle meeting an urgent need for the disciples, turning a struggle into a testimony read for 2,000 years. Like that fish, Jasmine carried a weight she didn't volunteer for. By enduring 12 years, she transformed a medical anomaly into a global source of hope for anyone wondering if they can survive their own trials. You likely have your own 174 pounds. It may be a diagnosis, a financial crisis, or a season of grief that feels like it will never end. The structure of Jasmine's journey suggests that burdens are not assigned by accident. Every pound carried can eventually be repurposed. Jasmine even helped write a song about her experience, using her voice to reach people on the other side of the world who are currently struggling to keep going. Jasmine's walk across that stage provided a blueprint. Her survival became evidence that an impossible weight can be carried, and eventually laid down to help someone else find their way through the storm.
Jasmine's story is an incredible story of victory, but it also helps us see Romans 8:37, which says, "We are more than conquerors in Christ Jesus who loves us." The word that's used in Greek for conqueror is actually hyper-conqueror, more than just a conqueror. The Apostle Paul could only see Roman conquerors in his day, but if he were alive today, he would say she is more than a superhero in Christ Jesus who loves her. So Jasmine, thanks for being a hyper conqueror in him who loves you.